Let's see if that makes any difference here. Okay, this is take two. I'm trying to see if I can get it to work. Let's see. It says I'm live right now. Ha, there we go. Now it's turned around the right way. All right. I am sitting here with you guys in I call it my library. I call it my library. I have Yummies. This is Merlot 2018. This was given to me by a good friend of mine, Carol, a while ago. It's been sitting in my bar, and I thought, I will have some. I had some yesterday. It was pretty good stuff. Ugh, now if I can get the cork back out. You gotta be careful with these corks because you could break them. So, movies. Why am I into movies? And what got me started? How long have I... I'm going to give you basically a whole history thing and a rundown. That is what I'm going to do. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to put the cork back on. I'm just going to leave it there for now. So, movies. Why movies? So, I grew up really poor. Really poor. Oh, yeah. I grew up really poor. My mom ran a soup kitchen for 11 years of my childhood because my dad just couldn't get a job. And, of course, he's also a Vietnam vet. So he had some issues. And so he just couldn't get a job. And my mom also had some issues. My mom was a very large woman. And she was bound to basically a wheelchair. And so she also couldn't maneuver around very well. And so there was that. I also didn't make friends very good as a kid. I just didn't have the best of luck. Let's just put it that way. I didn't have the best of luck, so I didn't make very many friends. And the friends I did make, I didn't talk to them all the time. I've got my best friend Luke. He's been my best friend since. Oh my gosh, he was 2 years old. No, I was 2 years old when he was born. So 39 years. He's been my best friend for 39 years. My mom used to babysit him. And then when his brother was born, my mom used to babysit him and his brother for a little while. His mom and my mom went to church together. But digressing here back to where I was at. So the reason I got into movies is because I didn't have a ton of friends. And we were very, like I said, very poor. So we didn't have we didn't have a VCR when I was a kid. It wasn't until the late 80s, 88, 89, when we got a VCR. And even then it was used. It was given to us by some friends of ours who just went and bought a newer one. So it was an old VCR. And it wouldn't have really made that much of a difference because we didn't get out of our 13-inch black and white TV until, gosh, it must have been 91, 92, is when my mom went to JCPenney's. And she bought, on a layaway sort of thing, bought a 19-inch JCPenney's television, which was like definitely not name brand. It was generic. And I think at the time it was probably close to $300. It was really expensive. I do remember her going in once a week and making like was like a $20 payment on it or something once a week. And it took her a long time. It was like her big Christmas present to the family the year we got it. And, but I used to sit in the living room when I get, well, before school in elementary. I used to sit and I used to watch the reruns of DuckTales and I used to watch Tailspin and Goof Troop and all that kind of stuff before school. And then when I got home from school, I would watch whatever my parents were watching, which was usually like Matlock or oh gosh, Lawrence Welk on Sunday nights, which was horrible, and MASH, and whatever they were watching, we watched it. Us kids didn't get any television choices unless it was on the weekend, or when I got a little bit older. I was about 10 or 11. My dad let me stay up on weekends as late as I wanted to, with the understanding that you were going to get up and go to school, or get up and go to church, or you were going to be productive. Let's see, we got somebody in the room here with us. David, you're in the room. Ooh, the Toy Channel. Hello, how are you doing? I am doing fantastic. I film my videos with Sony Handycam. I use a old, well, it's not really that old, but I use an old iPhone that we don't use anymore. So we use Pure Talk, and which is on like I think Pure Talk is on like the T-Mobile platform, I think. Well, at the first of the year, they switched over and got rid of all their 3G. So because they got rid of their 3G, I had to buy a new phone. So I bought a new phone, and that's what I've been using, my old iPhone, which there's nothing wrong with. And then before that was an old Samsung S7. But I've always used a phone as my camera. I've never used anything else. I make great videos, man. I am going to. I think I've gone to your channel, and I've watched a couple of your videos, I believe. I love to watch My Little Pony. Friendship is magic. Yes, friendship is magic. I watched some My Little Pony when I was a kid. My sister kind of liked it, but unfortunately, it wasn't on one of the channels that we would get. Our TV, our black and white TV, it only got 3 channels, and that was it. It was KSPS, which was PBS, public television. Got channel 6, which was NBC, and then we got channel 4, which was ABC. Those are the only channels we got when I was a kid. Let's see, and I have 2 channels. They are David Whited Arcade and Toy Channel 1 and 2. Rock on, dude. I want to say, I want to say welcome to all of my new subscribers. So I started this channel 7 years ago, and then I did a bunch of video reviews and stuff with it back in the day, like 30 of them or something. But my problem was I was spending a lot of my time on my other channel, which is a gardening channel. It's Graham's Garden on YouTube here. And I spent a lot of time on it and trying to build it. And I could never break 1,000 subscribers. I'm stuck right now at 888. So, but digressing again, I go on these tangents and I could talk for days. And never finish a thought. So, shortly before the first of the year, I want to say it was like in October, I think it was October of last year, the wife and I were talking, and she's like, you have this channel, you really need to do something with it. And I had like 32 subscribers, and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, I don't really care. So, look, the number of subscribers, I don't really care. It doesn't bother me. it's cool to watch that number go up because there's more people like you, David, that I did get that right. I didn't. Oh, good. My memory. I have short-term memory loss. I can touch base with people and have conversations about movies, and this is one of two of my absolute biggest passions. I love movies. I love physical media. I'm very sad to watch it slowly die, but it'll never die in my house. If the director decides he wants to change a scene or cut something or whatever, I got the original. Speaking of which, I got laser discs. I got the original Star Wars before it was George Lucas got in and messed it all up. But oh my gosh, I'm rambling again. But okay, so let me go back to my story here. So when I was really little, I didn't get to pick and choose what I was watching. And then shortly after we got the colored TV, my dad, I think it was about 10 or 11, my dad said, go ahead and stay up all night if you want to. I don't care. As long as you're up in the morning when I get up for my cup of coffee and breakfast and you're not grumpy all day, then you stay up as long as you want. And so I used to stay up, and especially on Saturday nights, I used to stay up and I used to watch Doctor Who, which came on at 10:30 here in my area every Saturday. And what was cool is they would play 2 episodes of a story. So you'd watch their half-hour episodes, and you watch 2 episodes, and then the next week you'd watch 2 more episodes, but they were like the finishing parts of the story. Sometimes Doctor Who had 4 episodes, sometimes it had 6 episodes, sometimes it had 5 or 3. I mean, it was always different, but the story could continue from week to week. So I would sit in the living room on the floor and look up at the TV, and I remember my parents sat so far away from the TV because, well, we had a pretty good sized living room, and they weren't really TV watchers. They had a TV for noise in the background. The TV was always on in my house. But yeah, Doctor Who was my thing. And then I discovered Blake Seven and fell in love with Blake Seven. And then I've discovered Are You Being Served? And Keeping Up Appearances and Allo Allo and all the old British Only Fools and Horses, One Foot in the Grave, all these old British, not really sitcoms, but comedies. And so I grew up watching those things, and on KSPS, and then of course I got addicted. I was drawn in. And we had, like I said, we had a VCR, but we were really, really poor. And we had a few blank tapes, and we would record stuff so we could watch it another time, but we never recorded or never watched movies later down the road. But there was this video rental store in a gas station that was probably about 1.5 miles from our house. And when we had a car, my dad would go there to get gas, and my mom and dad would fill up on a soda. It was like 25 cents for like a 32-ounce soda. And we would rent a movie every now and again. And it was really kind of cool to be able to rent a movie. And they weren't expensive either. I want to say it was like $1.50 for like 3 nights. It was really cheap back then. And so, which back then it wasn't cheap, but looking at it from our perspective now, the cost of things, it was really cheap. And then a Hastings entertainment store moved in a little bit closer. We got our rental cards there, and I, of course, became a teenager, and I was renting, and I had my first job at 14. And so I started renting movies all the time, and then they started selling used movies, or at least I should say I discovered the fact they were selling the used movies on VHS. So I started buying them, and I would buy stuff that I've never seen before because, and even though I look, in my point of view, I paid twice what it would cost to rent it. I got to own it, so I could watch it 3 or 4 times for the cost of renting it twice. And so I figured, well, no brainer here. Buy it. Why rent? You're throwing your money away if you rent. I mean, that was my whole thought process. So I was never, from that point on, I stopped renting. The only time I would ever rent something is if a brand new movie just came out and I had to see it. Like Phantom Menace. When Phantom Menace came out, boom. As soon as it hit the shelves and it was out to be able to watch or rent, I grabbed it immediately. It was one of those things, and that's not the only one. There was a ton of other movies that were that way, but I would just boom, got them, and I would rent. But most of the time I owned it. And then Hastings dropped their prices, and they had this huge price drop where they were selling them for like $1 to $2 a piece for some of these really crummy titles. I mean, they were titles that you were like, nobody's gonna rent this, and so I bought them. I was like, I just want to have a collection. I just want to have titles, and then that way I've got shelves, because I love the idea of having them on the shelf. I thought that was kind of cool. And then over the years, I just slowly I'd watch something, I didn't like it. It went in a box and I donated it, or I sold it to friends or what. I mean, I've gotten rid of so many. Out of all the movies I have, I've probably gotten rid of at least twice. And I think I'm a little over 6,000 titles. Oops. I wasn't supposed to tell you that. Don't tell anyone. I'm a little over 6,000 titles in my current collection. Now, I have, over here I have a gurney, the 1940s gurney, and on my gurney I have stacks and stacks of movies. Those aren't even in my collection yet. As far as the numerical numbers, they're not even on there yet. I haven't had time to go through it. Been working extra hours at work. I have 3 boxes in my breezeway that I didn't even look through. A bunch of them were given to me. I just bought over 700 titles from a fellow YouTuber. That's bitter. Out of the 700 titles, I think I only kept maybe 100 of them. They're all on VHS or on beta. The rest of them, I was just like, I already own it, or I don't need it, or just didn't look intriguing. Like, I'm not really a huge fan of Westerns. I'll watch Westerns. I grew up with Clint Eastwood and John Wayne and that kind of stuff, but I'm not huge into Westerns. I mean, if there's one on and it looks like a good storyline, I'll watch it, but I'm not going to go out of my way to watch one. But, so those all got donated. I donated almost 600 VHS tapes. That was a fun day. I put those in the back of the truck and took them into the Veterans Thrift, and the guy, he sees me pull up with these boxes. All the boxes were closed, and just like whatever. He went to go pick them up, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, they're heavy!" And I was like, "Yeah, they're VHS tapes." And he starts opening them up, and he's like, "Whoa!" And he's just like, "Dude!" And started going through them and looking at them while we were there. And before I left, he had like 3 of them in his hand, and he's like, "I'm gonna buy these before they hit the floor." I'm just like, okay. I told him about my channel, and I don't know if he ever came and watched any of my videos or subscribed or anything, but yeah. So I don't know, it's my thing. I love it. I just recently, within the last year, started collecting VHS Titanic. These guys. I just started collecting these. And there's like, I think there's two different styles. Um, Both come in widescreen and full screen. But the reason I'm collecting these is because my gurney, I'm building a platform for my gurney to sit on. So it'll bring it up, like, I'll have to show you guys one of these days. But it'll bring it up about another foot off the ground. So then that way it comes to just about chest height. So it's more like a bar, which is my concession stand. I've got a professional popcorn machine, a professional coffee machine. I want to get another hot dog roller. I used to have one, but the motor burned out in it. It was really old. It was like from the 60s, and they just don't make those motors anymore. And I didn't know how to modify. I do now, but I didn't know how to modify it then to put a new motor in it, because you'd have to mess with the motor. But so anyways, I want to get a new one of those. I have a Soda Stream thing and a bunch of stuff. Anyways, I want to build a new bar top for my gurney, so it's going to be movie inspired with resin and that kind of stuff. It's going to be really kind of cool. And then, like I said, the platform is going to be like a box I'm building, and I've got these 3-inch wide, and I think they're 13 inches tall sleepers, and they're really old. They're probably from the 30s or 40s. They're really, really old. And I'm going to build a box out of them, and then I'm going to put the Titanic VHS tapes in there. I think that would be kind of cool. Titanic is one of those movies. It's kind of an inside joke, sort of. I love VHS too. Horror DVD. Hi. VHS is one of those movies where it was overestimated on how many VHS tapes people were going to buy. It's one of the very first massive blockbuster movies while we had, we had, home video. And so, not unfortunately, because I think it's kind of cool, but they overestimated how many we're going to sell. They figured, okay, well, it's going to be this percentage of our theater sales. And then when everybody went to the theater and watched it in the theater, there's a few people who wanted to own it on VHS, but for the most part, they're like, we saw it already. It was one of those movies, and that's how I feel too. Titanic was one of those movies you could watch it once and never see it again. So I was just like, all right, well, what is a movie I can get in mass quickly? Because there's other movies like my brain. Oh, come on. I'm gonna have to look. Big Lebowski. I would love to have the Big Lebowski on VHS tape underneath my gurney. But the Big Lebowski is hard to find in VHS, at least in as many numbers as I need, which I think I calculated 160 titles is what I would need in order to put inside my platform. So that's not going to happen. So I figured, well, the Titanic, I can get the Titanic for $1 a piece. I did a thing once where I was on Etsy and I got 3 of them for $25. Don't do that. I knew when I was doing it was bad, but I already bought one from this guy beforehand, and I was kind of like doing him a favor, and it was supposed to be more than just 3, but whatever. So yeah, I that's what my thought process is. Jerry Maguire is another one that was also mass produced. So for me, it's going to be kind of a movie collector's inside joke is basically what I'm going for. Mass produced VHS tapes. Things that if they disappeared tomorrow, no one would give a crud. You can only collect so many VHS tapes. VHS tapes. I love VHS. I can't put my finger on it, but there's something about a VHS tape. that's different. Blu-rays, DVDs, laser discs, CEDs, they're great, but there's something about a VHS, and I don't know if it's because I grew up with VHS and the sound of putting it in the machine and listening to the winding of it as it plays. I mean, it could be all of it. It could be the picture quality. But there's something about a VHS. I will always have VHS tapes in my collection. Always. As time goes on, I am upgrading movies. I do it all the time. As you guys, I'm sure you've watched some of my hoarding up videos. I'm constantly upgrading movies from VHS to either DVD or Blu-ray. My goal is eventually to have everything on the best quality possible. However, I will always own VHS. There's a lot of movies that are never, ever, ever going to make it to DVD and definitely 4K or Blu-ray. So that, I was doing this, thinking about this a couple of years ago, when 4K first came out, that it's gonna be dead before it really starts. It was my thought, because so VHS has been on the market for years, 30 something years. It's been on the market for a long time. There are millions and millions of movies on VHS that will never be put on DVD. There are even less movies on DVD than VHS, and a ton of those movies on DVD will never make it to Blu-ray. And there's a ton of Blu-ray movies that'll never make it to 4K. So the better the quality gets, because they don't have the longevity, because they don't have the money or being in that period in time, you're always going to have less and less film or movies on those formats as time goes on. And now, with basically the death of physical medias here, they're already cutting back on how many, and people are still buying DVDs, but they're getting harder and harder to find. I would say probably within the next 2 years, you won't see DVDs unless they come in with a Blu-ray. But then it'll be hard. They'll still be very hard to find at that point. 4K is maybe got 5 years in it, but it's never going to pick up steam like Blu-ray did. And Blu-ray's the leader right now, in my opinion. It's the best quality for the cost. It's got the special features that everyone likes. And yeah, I think it's great. I would prefer my collection to have way more Blu-rays than I do. But I'm not going to go out. I mean, I could, if money wasn't a thing, wasn't a deal at all, and I was like a multi millionaire, I could replace pretty darn close to all the titles in my collection. There's probably about, I don't know, about 500 titles I couldn't replace with either Blu-ray or DVD, but I could replace a lot of my DVDs with Blu-rays. I'm just not going to spend the money on it. I'm a thrifter. I have always been a thrifter. Growing up poor, like I said, we didn't have the money. So even though I have the money now, I won't spend a Blu-ray. So if a brand new Blu-ray, like, okay, so Afterlife just came out, I spent the $27 or $28 on Afterlife, because hello, you got to finish the trilogy. But an average movie that comes out, Blu-ray, I'll spend probably $5. That's about my max. I won't go over $5. DVDs, I've been known to spend the max $3. I would prefer $2, and that's it. But I can find DVDs almost anywhere for $2 right now. They were about 2 years ago. They were the cheapest I saw was $1 a piece. That price is in those places. That price has changed and it's gone up. But like Value Village or Savers, I believe it's now $2.99 for a DVD, where it was $2. It was $1.99. It was $1.99. It's gone up to $2.99. It better for $3 on DVD. It better be something I need, and it better be like no scratches, no scuffs, no nothing. It better be high quality. Artwork better be perfect for $3, and inserts would be a plus. But other than that, no, man, I find stuff. I just went to the just the other day. I went to a garage sale, and I bought, it was 100. I think it came out to like 117 titles. I think is what it came to, for $1 on VHS. I don't know if you guys have seen that video yet. It'll be coming up here soon. I sit on the front porch and go through every single one that I got, and then I show you a couple days later. I will. There's another video that's going to come out where I show you what I kept out of it. It's crazy how many I actually got rid of. I didn't keep very many, but yeah. Oh, that's another question that came up a little while ago. My filming, how I film. So I used to, before I was doing a movie a day every day, I would film a movie and then I'd put it up that day. Because I am in a challenge right now to make it an entire year and put up a video every day for a year, I am 1 week behind, or ahead, I should say. I'm 1 week ahead. So what you see tonight or in the morning, I filmed that a week ago. So I'm 1 week different. The reason I'm doing that is, and there's time, I mean, like tonight, after I'm done with this, I'm gonna do 2 movie reviews. The reason I'm doing that is because my life is crazy and busy. And if I tried to sit down with you and do 1 movie every single night, every day, I'd fail. I have 2 special needs kids. My wife's a stay-at-home mom to take care of them. I work full time. I have my mom and dad. My mom is in assisted living. My dad lives on his own, and they're elderly. So I'm constantly all over the place, and I have a 21-year-old. She's absolutely amazing, but randomly I'll be called to drive 30 miles to go and help them with, I don't know, whatever. So I can't film like that. I know people who do, but it's crazy. Most of your larger YouTubers, they have at least a minimum of 3 to 5 days where they're putting up, they're creating content 3 to 5 days ahead. That way there is a buffer there, and honestly, I think it's probably the only way to do it. Let's see. We've got May to December. I think I just subscribed to your channel. Yeah. Let's see. A lot of movies that I find are never released to DVD or Blu-ray. Are the old ninja movies. Oh yeah. I just saw, I didn't buy it. I just saw a box set of old ninja movies, like Jet Li and that kind of stuff. They wanted $180 or $190, and I think there was, I want to say there was like 80 movies or something in this box set. It was crazy. Not gonna spend the money. I love old ninja movies, especially ones that are not in English or dubbed. The better ones, I guess the funnier ones are dubbed. Let's see. And then it's easier to buy them at those prices if they are not very obscure. Titles most of the ones I pick up from other countries, I would love to find them at those. Yeah, no kidding. Either foreign films or stuff that's just printed. Canada stuff. I find them all the time at the Dollar Tree. They'll bring in, stuff from like Quebec and stuff. You'll see the artwork and stuff on them. They will change. No, I thought that was one. So they'll have the French on them or whatever. You find those all the time. The ones that are hard to find, especially from what I'm finding, is the VHS movies that are from England. England has this weird thing with cases. They never used. Let's see if I can find one here. They never used these paper. That's weird. Oh, there we go. They never used these paper cases. And if they did, they were imports from America. This is pretty much 1,000% from here. Australia is the same way. They also never got these. They would get the hard shell cases like this that are hard. They're not like Disney or Warner Brothers. They're like seriously hard shells. That's what England and Australia gets. They're very hard to find here in the States. Very hard to find. I see them every now and again, but if someone knows what they have, you're gonna pay premium price, unfortunately. I went to England in I had to go and do a little family reunion because we had the money and we figured, what the heck, we'll go. We're just gonna do this. And I just graduated high school, and the two of us went. Well, I had spending cash. I mean, I had a job, so I was making good money for a kid that stayed at home. And I bought 200 or 300 VHS tapes, and they were cheap. I think I only spent like £1.50 to £2, £3 for them, and that was about it. However, shipping them home might as well have turned it out to be like $20 a piece. They're heavy. VHS tapes are heavy, and when you do international shipping, it costs an arm and a leg. I had a small box, for example. I had a small box. This was, like I said, this was like 20 plus years ago. I had a small box about this big, and it had, I think it only had like 25 or 30 movies in it. And it cost me over $300 to ship that sucker. Needless to say, I put a bunch of them in my suitcase. We had this deal where you could have 3 suitcases. Well, I went over there with 1 suitcase. So I went and bought these massive suitcases. My aunt, she worked in a luggage store, so I got a great deal on these big suitcases. I mean, they were big enough for me to sit in. They were huge. But I couldn't... One of them, I could take them both on the plane, but one of them was way overweight. And so I'm sitting there like, okay, how do I get... Well, I think it was like 10. I think I took 10 movies out. How do I get these 10 movies onto the plane with me? Because I couldn't put them in my suitcase. And my mom and I were sitting there like, oh gosh, what are we going to do? Because, you know, I mean, you got a bag, a carry-on bag, and then you got to carry this too. she had a plastic sandwich bag from like Tesco's it was a bag from Tesco's, I think. And we put them in that and we carried that with us. I mean, it was just, oh man, my addiction has gotten me in some of the weirdest places. Oh wow, yeah. I went into a thrift store one time, and this was years ago. Years ago, I go into this thrift store, and they must have had 1,000 movies there, and they were in milk crates. You know, like you put 4 1-gallon milk jugs in, and they were just shoved in these milk crates. And I asked the guy, I says, hey, how much do you want for them? And he's like, well, I'm selling them at 10 cents a piece. And of course, I'm like, okay, how much do you want for all of them? And he's like, gosh, I don't know. Whatever you got. Give me what you got. And of course, I love it when people say, give me what you got. I gave him $20. And it was under. I was probably like 900 titles, 950 of all VHS tapes. And of course, the majority of them I didn't want. But I had a collection there. I had like probably 200 titles for $20 that I kept, and I wish I still had them. I went through this big purge, like everybody did. When DVDs came out, there was a time there where nobody really bought them, but they started getting lower in price and getting cheaper, and people started converting over to DVD from VHS. And I was one of them, and I got rid of a lot of my VHS tapes and bought DVDs. And I think that's one of my biggest like collection regrets, because my gosh, I had a lot of movies and a lot of stuff I've not seen. I mean, I didn't replace them all. I just got rid of the VHS and basically started collecting all over again. And there were things in there that I still today haven't found, that just extremely rare. Example, I own 2 copies on VHS of Telephone with Whoopi Goldberg. That first time I found the Telephone, it was almost 6 years later, and I still didn't find it on DVD. And when I found it, I just, oh my gosh. And then I just found another copy of it with different artwork about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And so, yeah, I'm going to keep both of them because the artwork's different. I think that's freaking awesome. It's one of my favorite movies of Whoopi's. I thought so I'm not a huge fan of politics, and especially that. I'm not going to go into that. But Whoopi Goldberg, especially in the 80s and the 90s, was great. She was an amazing actress. I loved Sister Act. I loved Burglar. I loved all of those movies. Well, Telephone was one of her best, in my opinion. She had a stand-up routine that basically was this character. It was almost a little bit of Jumping Jack Flash mixed in, and it was just an absolutely fantastic movie. I now own it on DVD, and it's the last time I checked, it's no longer being made on DVD, and you can't get it on Blu-ray. But if I ever, I don't think it was in 35 millimeter either. I think they did it like an 8 millimeter. So I don't know. If I find it on Blu-ray, I'll grab it just so I have a copy of it. The Big Lebowski is another one. I have like 6 copies of The Big Lebowski. I am a huge fan of the dude. I don't know what it is. It must be a nostalgia thing. It must be something. But oh my chat is blowing up. What do we got going on? Dubbed is always fun. Yeah, that was a while ago. Yes, dubbed is always fun. I love dubbed, especially when it's done on purpose. It's something that's filmed in English, and then they say something completely different over it. I always thought that kind of humor was funny. What a night, Mayor. Yes, yes. One thing I loved about DVDs and Blu-rays is you can always take them out of the case for shipping and end up posting about 500 instead of about 60 in the cases. Oh yeah, absolutely. You gotta be real careful though. So I have purchased DVDs without the cases, and they've put them in, instead of jewels, they've put them in the paper sleeves, and I have gotten some really gnarly scratched up discs that way. Yeah, I personally, I collect them where they're in their original cases now. I didn't used to. I used to have a bunch of pirates. A buddy of mine owned a bunch of movies I wanted copies of. He wanted copies of stuff I had. End up stealing my originals. But he would make me copies, and then I would put them in just a regular black case and call it a day. Yeah. Speaking of cases, I have a stack of DVD and Blu-ray cases that are empty and extras because you never know when a case is going to come to you and you're going to get it and it's broken or damaged. And so you have to replace them. I do miss the glory days of collecting when eBay and online stores didn't exist. Made it a lot more exciting finding them. Yeah, being able to walk into a store, like physically be in a store, and never knowing what you're going to find on the shelf, it still gives me like, oh my gosh, that's amazing. The other day I just found there it is. I just found Jaws. I just found this the other day at my all-time favorite thrift store. It needs a new case. I thought I owned it, and I've passed on it for years, and then I realized that I didn't own it, and then I couldn't find it. Because once I know, okay, I need this title, and I start looking for that title, like it's always in the back of my mind, I need that title, you'll never find it. And then I of course, I'm thumbing through, and boom, there it is. And my heart raced. I was like, oh my God, please don't be scratched. Please don't be scratched. And I gently taken it out, and I don't want to look. And I look, and it's perfect. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And of course, it was on a Sunday, so I got it for $1. I was happy about that. Although I think every time I go in there, I only pay $1 anyways. I spend so much money in their store on movies. Well, at least I'm from this perspective, I guess. And I donate so many titles to them. He gives me half off their regular price anyways. But they have this thing on Sundays where everything in the entire store is 50% off. It doesn't matter what it is. It's 50% off on Sundays. And every now and again, I'll go in there on a Wednesday or a Thursday or something and be like, you know what? I didn't see you last Sunday. I'm going to give you 50% off. I love it. Oh, I'm kind of bummed though. So there's a thrift store that's literally like, gosh, walking distance from my house. Not very far from my house. Or it was. It's not there anymore. They moved. I knew they were going to move. I think I did a video on this too. I knew they were going to move. almost a year in advance. And so and they were only $1.50 for any title. Didn't matter if it was Blu-ray or DVD. Only $1.50. And I would go in there, but there were so many common titles. I've rarely ever found anything because I either already own it or it's something I've seen and I don't like. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. I would go in and she had a wall. This one, well, imagine like, I don't know. Imagine a huge wall. And she had this huge wall, floor to ceiling. There must be like, I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 titles on this wall. And I would go through and I'm looking and looking and looking. And of course, nothing's separated out to genres or nothing. And I'm go through this whole thing and I find two or I find one. And I'm like, I go up to the register and I'm like, I only found one today. Man, I have a wallet with a piece of plastic in it I'm paying with. $1.50? I can't tell you how many times I walked out of there without paying her because she was like, I'm not going to run it for $1.50. Just have it. And it's like, really? So then I go back again and I'm like, all right, not only am I taking my money with me, some cash to say thank you, just in case, but I go back and I'm like, please have more than one title. If I have 5 titles, 6 titles, I can say, you know what, charge me an extra, 2 movies or 3 movies or whatever it was the previous time that she, whatever she, at least that way I feel like I'm giving her what she deserves. I don't need the gift. You need to pay the electric bill and the mortgage bill. Pay your bills. I mean, you're a thrift store that's in an alley that nobody knows about, but people are like that. I'm like that. Let's see. What a result. Sounds like very friendly people. Yes, they were very friendly people. Yeah, they were pretty awesome people. Yeah. Well, and there's just so many people like that I come across. I mean, that's why I go to this veterans thrift store. Not only does it help the vets, but these people are just like, they're just heart of gold. They're just awesome people. Now, this veterans thrift store is in one of the worst, there's like most of Spokane is in a bad neighborhood, but this is in one of the worst neighborhoods in Spokane. Just, about 2 blocks away, there used to be a bunch of houses and they tore all the houses out because they were vacant. From the 2008 or whatever foreclosure thing. And they put fences around it and it's completely nothing but tents. I mean, it's like 6 blocks long by about 4 blocks wide. And on each entrance is porta potties and those little washing stations. And it's just tents and garbage and unfortunately children. Lots of children. I see every now and again a school bus and they just load the kids up in the school bus and take them to school. It's just, and the kids, the sad part is the kids get on the school bus early. They get to school early so that they're able to take a shower and get clean, so that the kids don't make fun, the other kids don't make fun of them. It's part of this heart program that we have. The kids will take dirty laundry, 2 pairs of clothes, to school with them in a plastic bag, like a plastic shopping bag. And the teachers will wash their clothes while they're in school. So that way they have a clean pair of clothes for the next day or the weekend or whatever. And you see that, and you see them taking food home with them. The teachers will give them a couple of plastic shopping bags to take food home for snacks or sometimes for dinner for the rest of their family. The only reason I know about this program is I used to drive a school bus here in Spokane, and it is heartbreaking. Most of these people, oh gosh, I'm getting all down. Most of these people want to better themselves. And of course, with the situation that happened the last couple of years, they're doing better in what they're doing in their eyes than they would if they were working full time. That, and I mean, there's jobs available, but it's nothing that, I don't know. I couldn't be in their situation. I would clean toilets and do horrible stuff for a living if I had to. I couldn't allow my family to be living out of a tent. That's just me. But I'll stand in the street and wash people's windows for tips. I gotta do something. But anywho, off of the sadness. Everett. I love Everett. You're like my neighbor. Oh my gosh. Let's see. I lived in Seattle for 2.5 years on 10th and Terrence, which is like right downtown. It's just below the Broadway district. And my mom and we live there. And yeah, I love Seattle. Bainbridge. I have an aunt and uncle that live on Bainbridge Island. Oh my gosh. If you ever get a chance, you're Everett, so you're pretty close. If you ever get a chance, you got to go to Roslyn, Washington, especially if you're into TV and movie stuff, because that's where Northern Exposure was filmed, which is really, if you haven't seen Northern Exposure, oh my gosh, it was good. It was really good. Don't watch the last season. The last season will bum you out. But Northern Exposure was really good. It was supposed to be in Sydney, Alaska. I just did a review on that. I just watched that. Yeah. Everett, Washington. That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, what was the comment right before that? Yes, I live in Washington State. Yeah. I moved out of Spokane. I grew up in Spokane. I grew up at Shadle Shopping Center area, 4 blocks up from the shopping center, which in '97 they tore out the shopping center and put a Walmart in, and immediately the house prices dropped like tanks. Like dropping a tank from a helicopter, 1,000 feet up. Bam! I mean, it was... Yeah, the value of my parents' house just was gone. It was horrible, and the neighborhood just went downhill. It's so gross in Shadle now. It's gross. Got homeless people in the alleys, and you got just garbage and trash, and a lot of rentals, lots and lots of rentals. Unfortunately. It was a decent neighborhood to grow. It was a lot of starter homes. The neighborhood was built actually in the 1940s, right after World War II, with the thought that if we needed to go to war, we needed a bigger, needed more military and Air Force. It was all for Air Force housing for Fairchild Air Force Base. That was the whole concept of it, and then. They bought it. I think that land was all like farmland, and they bought it originally for that. And then they started building the houses, and it kind of ended. Yeah, it was cool. No, we moved out of Spokane in 2000. I want to say it was like 2006 or 2007. The wife and we moved out of Spokane, and we moved to the Valley. And I don't consider the Valley Spokane. I know they call it Spokane Valley, but it's not. Spokane Valley is completely different mindset. The people out here are just different. There's just different mentality level. And everything out here is more expensive and that kind of stuff too. But it used to be where you'd feel safe walking in the dark down neighborhood streets at night, and not feel like you could be mugged or raped or attacked or whatever. And now, unfortunately, it's not like that at all. It's changed, which is really, really sad. But it is the times, that we live in. We are talking about moving again in the next year or so, and possibly going to Priest, Idaho, Priest River. It's something we've been discussing and talking about. And the reason is because that's where I work. I work in Priest, and so it's nice to be like close to work. Right now, I'm looking at about an hour, 45 minutes to an hour drive to get to work every day, and then hour and 45, or hour to 45 minutes depending on traffic, getting home. So that's kind of my thing. Yeah, especially with the world as big as it is. I have on my other channel, I have subscribers literally from like every country. It is insane. There's a beautiful couple. They have a garden, and I do gardening on my other channel, and they live in Australia. And it's just some of the sweetest people. I got people from New Zealand, and I have an adopted aunt. She's subscribed to that channel and this channel, and we FaceTime all the time. She's down in California, Southern California, and yeah, I met her through YouTube. I've been on YouTube since 2009, and yeah, I've met a lot of people, and I'm really good friends with a lot. There's a guy on YouTube here called JT Bear. I was one of his first subscribers. He subscribed to my channel before I subscribed to his, and he only had like I think 40 or 50 subscribers when I subscribed to him. And I haven't checked recently, but I think I want to say he's like 40,000 subscribers or something like that. It's huge numbers for gardening. I mean, it's huge. There's a guy that now does gaming, but he was also a gardener. He's the same kind of thing. I think I was like 400. Yeah, we talk all the time. I try to make a community out of this. It's not, it really isn't about the numbers, about how many subscribers you have. You're never going to be honest, I mean, you're never going to make money on YouTube. When it first started, at one point in time, you could make money on YouTube. I must have had $1,000 just sitting on my YouTube account on my other channel, and I couldn't access it because I didn't have over 1,000 subscribers. I could never hit that limit and cash it out. But when you go and you see how much you make a month, it's ridiculous. I was just reading Roseanne Barr. She just just got a check for $60 off of YouTube, and I want to say it was for an entire year, is what it was. But like $60, even if it was a month, $60 on YouTube, you can't. No one can survive on that. These huge channels, they're full-time jobs, and not only are they creating content full-time, or sort of, but there's merchandise, there's Patreon, there's all these other platforms and things. I don't have time for that. And the problem is when you get that big, you change. Your personality changes. It's like Ninja. I don't know if you ever saw Ninja, but back in the day there was this gaming guy named Ninja, and he got massive. And when he got the money, he changed everything. He got a professional crew and he changed his set and his whole everything changed. Absolutely everything changed. And I'm don't want to do that. I don't want to change. I don't want the money. Well, I'd love to have money. I'd buy more movies, more bookshelves, and buy a shop just for my movies. But no, it's not about that. I've been on YouTube long enough to know that fame and fortune, even if it did happen, it's not something I want. I've seen so many channels come and go, and so many channels get really famous and popular and really successful, and then they crash and burn. And yeah, not my cup of tea. There's one right now. I just unsubscribed. Actually, about a month or two ago, I unsubscribed. They went from when I first started. I think they had like 3,000 subscribers. It's a family and they live on a farm, and they had like 3,000 subscribers. Now I think they're almost 1,800,000 some whatever it is. It's a huge number, and they've let it go to their head. So let's see. I moved here from England 10 years ago. Wow. That's awesome. Man, you have got to really love a spouse if you're willing to move 9 hours away from your home. That's cool. I can understand what you are saying. It's like the part we live in. If you go down to Broadway, it's so different to here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just things change, people change, stuff happens. But anyways, back to movies. I love them. I just started collecting. I'll grab one. I just started collecting these things, squeeze and shake cases. So I was against squeeze and shake cases for a long time because they take up a lot of space. If you take just the tape, ooh, that one needs some serious love. If you take just the tape and put them on shelves, and then you have the same amount of tapes, but you put squeeze and shake cases on them, the space will blow your mind. How much? I mean, you wouldn't think they would because they appear to be tight, but that's just enough space to like make you go whoa. So I was against squeeze and shake for a long time, and I decided at the first of the year. I decided that I was going to start buying squeeze and shake cases. So I bought a ton of them, like 300 and something of them, which was nowhere near what I needed. Unfortunately, a huge handful of them were sun damaged and busted and broken. Unfortunately. But the reason I'm getting the squeeze and shake cases is, and that was what I was getting at, is because these are just paper. These cases are just paper. And the corners get dinged and dented. It's almost like having a baseball card. You have a Ken Griffey Jr. card, you're gonna put it in a case. And if you don't put it in a case, I'm gonna be mad at you. Because it's a very rare card, right? Or I'm assuming it depends on which one it is, but if you're gonna keep your stuff in the best condition you can, you got to protect it. And so I was like, you know what? I've seen it where I got rid of it. I had a one of those blue Wizard of Oz VHS tapes where you open it up and it's like 25th anniversary or something like that. And it's got a booklet and stuff in it, and it's one of these real fancy VHS cases. And I had that since I was a kid, and I just got rid of it because it was so badly damaged from being pushed around and moved and done. And I found another one, and I didn't realize how badly damaged it was until I found another one. And I found another one, and I'm looking at this other one, and I'm like, wow. Yeah, that's the side-by-side comparison. I had to do something. I went online to go buy a bunch of these plastic ones that you kind of have to fold and everything. And I've got a couple of them, but the cost is good. I just don't like them. If you want to, the problem with, I mean, they don't take up any space, but if you're trying to get your tape out, you have to like fold it and do this thing, and it's just a pain. I was like, I don't know. And I find these things. I get them for free, basically. I'll go to the Salvation Army or someplace, Value Village or someplace, and they have VHS for sale. I'll see a Squeeze and Shake case on a movie. Matter of fact, I just did the other day on a movie that I don't want, but I see a movie that I want. I'll just take it out of the dang Squeeze and Shake case, and I'll put the one that I want in it. And I've never had anyone say anything otherwise to me as far as they're concerned. You know, it's just plastic. It's garbage. They don't care. So, I mean, I'm getting it for free anyways. They don't price them any differently, so I don't understand where anything would be for being wrong. And then I have some of the opaque ones, and I mean, but Squeeze and Shake, I like the Squeeze and Shake cases. It just seems to work for me. Oh damn, that's darn, that's a huge amount of subs. You must be talking about what's his name? Yeah. I have been on YouTube for a long time, and I am lucky to have almost 400. You know, so back in the day, my other channel is the one that I really put all my effort into. And back in the day, I worked so hard to get subs, and I could never get traction. I spent maybe 8 or 9 years under 300. Just could never get above 300. Couldn't do it. And then I discovered some guys. I don't know why I did it, but I mean, other than I wanted the numbers. And I found some guys, cannabis channels, and they had these grow channels where you get on there and they play games and stuff, and they give away free seeds, and they do all these kind of things, but they want you to subscribe to the people that are in the chat. Click on the people in the chat, subscribe to them, and then come back. And so I got into that, and I broke my 300. Matter of fact, I went from 320 to 600 in like 3 days. And then, I don't know, a month or so goes by, and I'm dropped back down to like 360. I lost so many subscribers. And what I realized was the way the algorithm is set up, if someone subscribes to your channel, right, but if they don't leave a comment and or ring your bell or give you a thumbs up, so they got to leave a comment, they have to ring the bell, and they have to give you a thumbs up or give you a thumbs up. They have to do 2 activities with that video, and they have to watch it for more than 30 seconds. It goes away. YouTube just says, oh, well, that's not a real subscriber, gone. And within that time period, if they don't come back to your channel to watch something else, it eliminates them and makes them go away. And it sucks. But it's the way it's set up because they want real subscribers. They want people that actually watch her videos. But the funny thing is, I have 888 subscribers on my other channel. I would say there's probably only about 14 or 15 of them that actually come back and watch my stuff, that actually care. The rest of them probably haven't visited my channel or don't even remember who I am in so many years. So I don't understand it. It is so, like, unimportant. It is. It's unimportant. It doesn't matter. What matters about YouTube is having connection with people. Like this conversation we're having. That's what matters. That's what's important. Is having a connection and feeling like you belong to something or someone. Having that interaction. That's what is important, not the numbers. I think with social media, people have gotten so into that instant reaction. It's like with Twitter or Instagram or whatever. They post and then they get a like, they get a thumbs up, they get a comment. And people thrive on that energy. It's almost like an addiction. It is an addiction. But I think when you get into that thought process and that mindset, it actually is doing a disservice to you because it makes you feel as if something's not right. You're not actually connecting to people. Even though you're excited about the moment, you're not really having those real moments of connection. And so, yeah, I don't care about subscribers. I don't. It's cool. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers. That's my goal this year, is to hit 1,000 subscribers. Honestly, though, well, it ain't going to change a thing. It ain't going to bother me at all. I'm not doing this for the numbers. I'm doing this because I enjoy movies. I enjoy gardening. I enjoy having interactions with people. This lady, this is in California that I was talking about earlier, she has been a subscriber of mine for 6, maybe 7 years. And we've built a real relationship, a real behind the scenes, life. There's a real interaction. She's like an aunt to me. She knows all about my family and I know about her. And I mean, we're friends, really good friends. And, I hope one day I'll be able to go drive down there and go see her garden. I think that would be the coolest thing ever. The truth of the matter is, with inflation and with being the only person working, it ain't gonna happen, unfortunately. But it's all good. It's not the end of the world. We have YouTube. If I need a hug, I got a wife upstairs. Hey, honey, give me a hug. Yeah, I enjoy being a real person and having real interaction with people. And that's what's important. Seriously, that's what's important. Yeah, the subscriber count is just a joke. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I went on a rant and you were talking. Hold on. I know the feeling. I am lucky to get 1 or 3 comments. Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the same boat. To get, heck, a good day would be, 5 comments. That'd be a freaking awesome day. Yet I will have like 5 dislikes per video. You have 400 subscribers and you're getting 5 dislikes? Oh, that's got it. Okay. That feels like a knife to the chest and twisted. I mean, that is just, I don't understand people. Like, if you don't like something, then leave. you don't need to be. Okay, positive note. Positive note. YouTube don't care. That's a positive note. YouTube don't care if it's a thumbs up or thumbs down. It reads exactly the same in you got your activity. You got your thing. So YouTube, it doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, I would promote it. I'd say, you know what? Give me a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs. That's what I would do in my videos. I'm like, give me a thumbs down. Y'all are gonna do it anyways. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, that sucks. I am sorry to hear that. I get thumbs down every now and again. I don't care. I really don't care. And you know, the sad part is you got a lot of people that don't understand that we're all in this world together. We're all on the same planet, page, whatever. And we're all different. And either you accept our differences and you look past them and look at what people can offer, or yeah, that sucks. I'm sorry. I agree. That's one of the reasons I love being on here. The bigger the YouTube, the less it feels like a community. Yeah. And the more of a fandom with the whole buy my shirt and all that stuff. Yeah. So I have to concur with that. I've tried, this is why there's I'm not going to name any names, but there is a YouTuber I just bought a ton of stuff from. I will not be doing business with this person ever again, because my interactions with this person was not... Gosh, I gotta be careful how I say this because I don't need negative stuff. It wasn't healthy. Very self-absorbed. Very much. I didn't feel like I had any value in the conversations, in the interactions. I felt as if I was just another number, just another thing, a business transaction, just another thing. And I also felt like I got taken advantage of. I didn't say anything about it. I just let it go and I moved on, because what's the point? You know, you make a deal with someone. Okay, this is the price, right? And this is what it's going to cost. And then when it comes, it's not all of what you were buying, or not as many, or whatever, and they blow you off like, well, whatever. It was, you got your order. And it's like, what? Seriously? That's how you're going to play? And I mean, I put a lot of money into these purchases. A lot of money. Way more than what the value of them was supposed to be. And the reason I started that whole journey of doing it was to help this person out. And I really genuinely thought, before I actually had a conversation with them, I really genuinely thought they were good people. Or a good person. And wanted to help them out. That's what I wanted. And not all video collectors, not all media collectors are genuinely good people. We don't all see eye to eye. We're not all on the same page. But that's not just with collecting. That's with people in general. We're not all on the same page. We're not all awake or woke. Haha. I hate that term too now. It used to be a cool word, or cool term. We're not all together on the same platform. We're not all understanding that this world is all of ours. And we have to treat each other the way we want to be treated. The golden rule. So I am done with that. I don't owe anyone any money. I don't owe anyone anything. And it's over. And I'm done. And I learned my lesson. And I'm never, ever, ever going to put myself in that position again until I know more information about this the individual or person or the stuff that I'm doing business with, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You can reach it. Yeah. I think you're talking about the number of subscribers. Yeah, we all can. It's just, are we going to win the lottery? Are we going to do something that gets people's attention and gets past the algorithm and gets thumbs up? I just put, this is what's really crazy. I just put up my very first short video the other day, yesterday or day before or something like that. And it was just a little 15-second boom, boom, boom blip, right? And I went from 120 this morning, 123 subscribers this morning, to over 140, I think it's like 140 something now. 20 plus subscribers in, less of a day. And I did nothing other than put up just a video that caught people's attention. And then the other day, like a week ago or something, I put up another video where I was talking about, are we watching the end of physical media here? Are we watching the death of physical media? And it is exploding. And I'm watching that and I'm like, I've done videos like that many times before. Many times before I've done videos like that. It just happened to be the right timing. It just happened to be there's other buzz or talking, or the world is just ebb and flowing, and boom, it hits at the right time and catches it and runs. Are they masterpieces? No. Are they going to be these $1 million viewer videos? No. Do I care? No. Because I'm having fun, and that's all what it's about. Having fun, enjoying life. And I just watched Dune 1984. Oh my gosh, I have never seen it in 4K before. Never seen it in 4K before. I own it on DVD, and I was able to stream it in 4K, and I was like, I want to watch the higher quality. I want to see if it stands up. Yeah. It is hilarious. You can see not the worst movie, but you can see a lot of the special effects. It's really cool. Great movie. Not my favorite or anything like that, but good movie. I'm going to do a review on that here in the next, it'll probably be another week or 2 weeks, maybe a week before it comes out. But yeah, I haven't even filmed it yet. We just watched, oh gosh, now my brain is gonna bloop. Enemy of Mine is what it's called. Absolutely, I watched it when I was a kid, and it's a great movie too. I just somehow managed to watch good movies. There's a lot of bad ones I've seen. Whew. Let's see. 3 of my best friends I made on here are like family to me now. Yeah, I feel you. I absolutely feel you. YouTube is this really weird vessel. There's something about it that is just weird. It's different than a lot of the other platforms. You got Twitch and you got Instagram and all these other ones, but YouTube is different, especially when you're able to live stream. back in the day, you didn't have on YouTube, you didn't have to have 1,000 subscribers to live stream. And if you were going to live stream, you didn't have to have just a computer or something like that or a special program. You could just do it. Now, you can't just do it through the app. They say, okay, you have to have whatever this is. I thought it was 1,000 subscribers, but I don't have 1,000 on my other channel, and I can live stream on it. So somewhere I'm falling in the right part of it, but yeah. I had a person I did YouTube chats with who I was friends with for 8 years, just for her one day to attack me and stop talking to me. I still have no idea why. It sucks when you put trust in others. Yeah, it does. But it happens. It happens. She was like a sister to me. We talked almost every day and every evening. Yeah, I get you. I've had family members that I've allowed to move into my home because they were going to be homeless, and friends. And I've had people over the years that to live here, and they, oh yeah, I'll pay you this much a month, or I'll pay for groceries, or I'll do this, or I'll do that, or I'll babysit, whatever. And everything's going great, and then out of the blue, they steal from you. They say things to everyone you know that's not true because they're angry, and poof, they're gone. I get you. I get you. What a humbling experience. Yeah. You know, it happens. Life goes on. You know. Here, that's okay. So I'm gonna tell you something. I am, as of July 9th, I am celebrating 22 years of being cancer-free. Hodgkin's lymphoma. I was diagnosed in October of '99, and I went through a horrible, long process with chemotherapy and radiation, and eventually ended up going to Fred Hutch in Seattle and having a stem cell transplant. That's when I lived in Seattle. Or we moved to Seattle for this transplant. Yeah. What I've learned over the years of going through that, going through my childhood, which I have not gotten into, and I won't get into on a platform like this. I was, as a kid, before cancer, I was arrogant, self-righteous, egotistical. The world revolves around me, and it was hard. It was hardcore. And it's taken me, I'm still learning. I'm still trying to figure it out. But it's taken me since that start 22 years ago, more than that, in October of '99. It's taken me this entire time, still, lifelong, to get to this point where you realize that there's something about life. The only way I can put it is the Lord has a plan. It's the only way. We all are put through our paces, and we're all given our own challenges and our own struggles. And it's something we have to go through individually. It is what it is. And whether you believe in God or don't believe in God or another thing, we are given challenges in life, and it's our survival of those challenges that make us who we are. That's it. Either we become better people, or we become more bitter and more angry and full of hate. I choose the opposite. I choose to believe that my life has put me in this place at this time, at this moment, with what I know and what I've gone through, so that I can share my passion for life, in this case, my hobby, with others. And maybe throughout that, I give them a little bit of inspiration to want more for life and to learn to forgive. And yeah, so I get you. Life is a basket that you can't look in. You have no idea what's coming. All you know is you have to put your hand in it and grab the first thing that you touch, pull it out, and deal with it. And it's like that. And sometimes you grab 3 or 4 things. However, let me tell you, from my experience, the Lord never gives you something you can't handle. You would say, oh, well, what about those that commit suicide? Well, maybe they didn't have enough of the Lord. Maybe they didn't listen. Maybe I don't know. I have never done it. So I don't know. But I do know that there's a lot of people that are lost. Yeah. My wife. I have never read the books. You know, that's the thing. I have never been into books. Never. I have books. I'm a huge Doctor Who fan. Huge Doctor Who fan. I grew up with Doctor Who was one of those shows when I was a kid. I'd sit and I'd watch on a Saturday night and I'd watch Doctor Who. And that's how I fell in love with it. I didn't even know the history of it. I didn't know where it came from. I didn't know anything other than it was cool. You had sets made out of cardboard boxes and they were having imagination and it was cool. I have a ton of Doctor Who books. A ton. They're classics. Here. Look at this. I'll show you a few. These are cool. Just a small handful. Nothing crazy, just a small handful. I'll have to do a room tour one of these days. So I got, these are old paperbacks. See, I paid a £1.50 for it when I was in England. Another thing I bought a ton of, and I shipped them home. I find them here in America, but usually I have to go online because, nobody has them. They're just paperback adventure books. A lot of these have a storyline on the TV show. A lot of them do. But there's a lot of them that never ever made it to a TV show. These ones are all Tom Baker that I happened to grab. He's not the only one. There's tons and tons. William Hartnell, and all of them are there. But yeah, so there's just a stack of them. They're all individual stories. And then I found this. So I gotta tell you about this. This was cool. So we're in England. I think it was in Brighton. It could have been Hove. Brighton and Hove, they're on the southern seaboard of England. And it's basically like Spokane and Spokane Valley. It's 2 towns that are separated by 1 street. And they're basically the same town. Anyways, I went into this shop. And it was a kind of an antique thrift store-y kind of place. I gotta have my wine. Antique thrift store-y kind of place. And I saw this. And it was sitting in this glass cabinet. And it looked just like this. That's all it was. And next to it was a couple, this is just example, not these two, but a couple of books. And they were kind of sitting together. I saw the books. I freaked out. I grabbed the books. I bought the books, right? And that was still sitting there. And I asked the lady, I says, well, what's that? Can I see that? And she's like, oh, of course, here. Hands it to me. And I opened it up. And I was blown away. Blown away. This was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Inside here was this. So this was originally sold in the United States, and somehow it made itself back to England. $6.95. So it says Doctor Who Diary 1986. In England, a diary is a calendar, like where you write things down, a memoir thing. Well, you know. But in here has a map of the London Tube, the Underground, and it is literally like a calendar. It is the coolest thing ever. It's got Doctor Who fan club information from Australia, Canada, Italy, United States. It's got companions, Doctor Who companions, who all the companions are for different doctors. So like William Hartnell, you had Susan, you had Ian, Barbara, Vicky, Steve, and yeah, all of them, right? Sarah, Polly, and it's so cool. And then it's got like the dates and everything, and what all of the holidays and stuff are, and it's like literally it's a calendar. You write in it. Brand new, never used. The spine has never been broken. It's a hard, like underneath this. Oh man, this thing is so cool. There's probably not. I mean, look at this. That is so cool. There's probably not another one of these in existence. And if there is, I doubt it. But I paid, yeah, Doctor Who Diary, mint condition, £6. I got it 95 cents cheaper. Actually, the exchange rate is way different, but I have £6. I think probably in American it probably came out to like $12, $10, something like that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was a depressing day. And then I have this envelope. Ah, you see what I said? Envelope. I didn't say envelope. I'm British. Oh, this is cool. These are stamps that I got when I was in England too. There was a little stamp shop. 3 cent stamps. These are kind of cool. Let's see if I can get a little closer. I'm trying to see in my thing here. But they're 3 cent Washington stamps. They're cool. I had same kind of thing, and I don't know what happened to them. They just completely disappeared. I had dialect stamps as well, and they were really, really cool as well. But yeah, those are the only stamps I actually own anymore. I used to have a stamp collection. I used to have a lot of collections, and I got rid of them because I realized that if you have too many collections, you become what everyone calls a hoarder. Yep. And that's what happened. I was collecting too much stuff. Let's see. So I have, when it comes to Doctor Who, I have all of the old school original DVD, if you can see it here, the original DVD cases and stuff. I have all of them. I'm a huge fan of all of it. And then I even have, the newer stuff on Blu-ray, and yeah. Oh, so I kept, when it comes to collections, I kept the movie collection, and I kept my Doctor Who collections. Those are the two big ones that I kept. I just got rid of a bunch of pins. So we used to do geocaching, and I had a bunch of geocaching like little pins that you get in a geocache. I had tons of them, and I just got rid of them. We said, you know what, enough. We're just going to leave for this year. We're just going to leave stuff in geocaches. We're not going to take anything out. So that's what we do in our free time. We go for hikes in the woods to find geocaches. Or Leavenworth. We like to go to Leavenworth too. Oh, let's see. Mega Mike, the movie man. Hey, dude. Oh my gosh. Let's see. Hey, friend. Always happy to stop by and support. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. Yeah. We've just been talking this whole time and having some fun. A little conversation. Trying to get comfortable here. Oh, and drinking my wine. Let's see. What else do we got here? I'm just here to talk. I'm glad to hear you talk about Doctor Who. I am a big fan of the original series. My favorite Doctor was Patrick and John. Okay, so the third Doctor and the second Doctor, I like them. My biggest problem with Patrick is the fact that there's not. That's not true, because they've went and animated a ton of them. There's a lot of lost episodes, and it sucks. William, so, gosh, I've seen, okay, when it comes to old Doctor Who or new Doctor Who, I'm a huge old Doctor Who fan. They used to call us DWs back in the day. We were DWs. And then they when the new stuff came out, they started calling them Whovians. I'm like, whatever. But you say DW now, and nobody has an idea what you're talking about. But I was a member of a fan club and that kind of stuff in high school, and I even wanted an Austin Mini. I wanted a Mini so bad. And you can import them, but good luck getting parts. Anyways, I'm off track here. So my favorite Doctor would have to be Colin Baker. Now, I watched all of them, and I've seen every episode probably 8 or 9 times each. It's some more than others. Everyone I talk to, when I go to conventions and stuff, they're always Tom Baker fans. And of course, I got my Tom Baker scarf, and my mannequin behind me is all dressed up like Tom Baker. I like Tom Baker, sure. And I've met Tom Baker at a convention, probably 8 years maybe ago now. But Tom Baker's okay. I mean, the character is funny, and he gave a spin to the show that it was lacking. However, Colin Baker, I liked his humor. Colin Baker had a very dry sense of humor, and I loved it. He came off as being this kind of straight and kind of like no humor, like the way dry, very dry, but his clothes and everything, his jacket, everything was kind of like, what the hell's going on with you? Like you were like, what? But I like Colin. Colin was cool. Patrick, I loved Patrick. The only problem I have with Patrick is Patrick got himself in trouble with the Brigadier. And Patrick was stuck and couldn't get off of the Earth. He managed a couple times and that kind of thing, but it just was stuck. And so was John. John was as well. I like that era. I like that time period. I don't know. David was cool. Yeah, Colin. I just liked Colin. What's his name? McCoy? Oh, what's his first? It's something McCoy. John McCoy. I'm drawing a blank. McCoy. I thought McCoy was awesome, but I think I liked him because he had that really weird accent. Like his he just, the way he sounded, it was weird. And he had Ace. Ace was hilarious with her and her bat. That was so cool. I loved. Was it remembered of the remembrance of the dialects? I think is what it was called, where she had the bat and she was like killing the dialects. It was awesome. Colin Baker had some rough stories in, yes, very rough stories. Thank you, Sylvester. You're right. Yeah, Colin had some really. Colin had a period there where it was a little like, okay, I'm kind of bored. I'm done. It's not moving enough. I get you. I like the intensity, Patrick. Yeah. Yeah. I get you. That makes sense. Patrick's intensity, yes, very right here, right now, very, yes. I get that. I get that. I can see where you're coming from. I wish they had all been available. John, me, was always very funny, and I had a massive crush on Katie. Right? Yeah, yeah, Patrick. Okay, so William was very grandpa and very, he knew everything, you know, and then Patrick was the kind of fumbly, and yeah, and then John was very very posh and very like, I don't know, maybe not posh, but very like, he knew what the script was, and he knew where Bessie was. Yeah, and then yeah, it just, and Tom, of course, Tom was very much a props guy. He needed, that's why, he had the scarf, and he had the hat, and he had the jacket. The way he carried the jacket, very, a lot, and I think a lot of the doctors had a very, not regal, but a very Broadway way of acting that I liked. They not all of them, but a lot of them, especially the older ones, they very much carried themselves differently. This new generation is just a bunch of kids, and they're guessing at what they're doing. I mean, okay, David Tennant and Matt and Christopher, they were okay. But man, you got this new guy. Well, you got the guy, and then the older guy, and I can't remember his name either. He's good. I like him. He's got, it kind of takes me back to the William Hartnell kind of acting. Like, he's just very much a Broadway style, like, not Broadway, they're like regally kind of actor. Then the girl, that threw me for a loop. I did not know that it was possible for gender bending for the Doctor. But with that being said, she was good. I didn't see it coming. She blew me away. And I am really curious and anxious to see the new series. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm really looking forward. But yeah, I just God, I love Ace. When I watched the last time I watched McCoy, I didn't know the show ended years and years before. So I watched it in 92. I think I ended watching Doctor Who and got completely caught up the first time in 91 or 92. And then it went off the air. It was done, right? It was a bunch of reruns, but there was nothing new. And then in 96, 95, heard that this movie was coming. And it was going to be a straight-to-TV movie, and it was this thing, and it was going to be on a limited run. They were only going to play it twice or whatever. And it's Doctor Who. Doctor Who's back! And, man, that was the coolest thing in the whole world. I was so on board to watch it. I was so excited. And I knew that McCoy was going to be in it, and I was like, yes, this is going to be great. And, dude, before you even know it, he's dead. And I'm like, oh, gosh. Really? I was so sad. It was almost midnight. I was so sad. But I fell in love with the new Doctor. And unfortunately, they couldn't keep him. I wish. I understand where BBC was and Fox at the time. I understand the situation financially and where they were at. I understand it. And I understand that there was no chance at that time that they were ever going to do a TV show again. This was kind of more like trying to do a movie run, kind of like Star Trek did with the original Star Trek series, where they were trying to revamp this thing through movies. And that was kind of the thought. That's what Fox was doing, because BBC, I guess, had a contract, or they sold it to Fox, or they had a contract with Fox. So there was this thing, and yeah, the movie came out, and apparently it didn't do as well as they thought it was supposed to do, and that was it. Okay, makes life happen, but. It is what it is, and it went the way it did. I did hear rumors that the actor that was in the movie, he is maybe or possibly coming back to be like in parts. I don't know if it's got like the War Doctor situation or what exactly it is, but yeah, from what I've understood or caught, because they don't tell you, you get all these oh, this is gonna happen, and you just like, people are guessing half the time. But I don't care. I love Doctor Who, and they can keep it going. They can do whatever they want with it. If I don't like it, I just won't watch it. I do like the spin-offs though. They did a spin-off. Frustrating the way they changed it, but they did a spin-off called K9, which was really, really weird, very childlike and very cartoony. And they, of course, changed what K9 looked like, because in like the first episode, he sacrificed his life to save everybody else, and they brought him back as this like really weird thing. It just didn't look like K9. And then they've explained it, of course. And then you got the Sarah Jane Adventures. They were really good, and unfortunately we lost her. She was an amazing actress. And then Torchwood, another spin-off. I kind of liked it, actually. It was really good, and it got canceled. I've heard rumors over the years they're bringing it back, but I've never seen anything come about that. And then the other one was The Class. I think it's called First Class. Doctor Who First Class or something like that. Let's see. I think I have it right here. Oh, give me a minute. Yeah, Class. Yeah. From the universe of Doctor Who, called Class. And yeah, I watched the first episode, and then I got sidetracked. Unfortunately, that's what happens. Start watching something. Oh, here's the K9 I was telling you about. And yeah, this is pretty good. It's the complete series. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's the best, but it's pretty good. Oh yeah, I got Doctor Who comic books, all kinds of stuff. all kinds of stuff. I've even got a poster book from England and a bunch of cool stuff. All right, let me read these comments here. I hate the new Doctor Who. They just seem so lost and so on the wrong way of the show. Yeah. Peter was terrible and Jodie wasn't that great. Okay. Have you seen the announcement for the new Doctor being the guy from Sex Addiction? No. Really? That's who they're gonna pick? Okay, this might be... okay. He was in the new series years ago for a short cameo, I believe. K9 was great. And the Sarah Jane Adventure one was good. I liked the first 2 seasons of Torchwood. Never seen Class. I'm curious. So, like I said, I saw the first episode of Class. I'm curious to see what happens. But from the first episode, Torchwood, yeah, Torchwood was great. I wish they would have done something other than that, or with that. I did like the TARDIS on his wrist. I thought that was kind of interesting. Peter Capaldi. That's right. Peter Capaldi. That's what the old man's name was. So I wouldn't say terrible. I don't know. Not the best. Yeah. Dude, it is late. How long have we been on this? Does it say? It doesn't say on there. I am tired. It's 12:02. I want to say thank you, dude. Thank you so much for hanging with me for the last, feels like 2 days. This has been awesome. I'm going to do this again a couple more times. I just don't know when. It will be in the evening. It'll be probably sporadic. But I'm going to do it a few more times. I kind of like it. It's kind of, for me, it's kind of cool to have the conversation and that kind of thing. And I'm kind of thinking more like Q&A kind of thing too, because there's a lot of people that are new, and I've had a lot of questions. So, yeah, I look forward to talking with you later. I think I'm subscribed to your channel. I'll have to double check. I'll come over and say hi and check out your stuff and figure out why the heck you're getting so many thumbs down. That is freaking rude. Yeah. I'm gonna have to finish that. I don't want to pour that back in the bottle. Ugh. Yeah. So I gotta go to work in the morning. Unfortunately, it's Friday, which means nothing to me. I work every day, every single day of the week, 7 days a week. But it is what it is. I have a stopper for that. I just can't find it. So, all right. And for the rest of you, if you're watching this after the fact, like always, I want to end my video the way I always end my videos, because that's who I am, and I strongly believe what I'm about to say. I hope each and every one of you have yourselves a fantastic rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining me. If you have any comments, questions, or anything like that, leave them in the comment section down below. I answer and I look at and read every single one of them. If you're new to my channel, of course, hit the big red button there and ring the bell, and that way you'll know when I have new stuff coming up. Every single day I'm releasing a brand new video. My voice is about to go.
I've been talking forever. I feel like Joe Rogan at the end of his podcast. Okay. Anywho, like LeVar Burton says, thank you very much, and until next time, bye for now. Now the awkward, I get up and turn off the camera. Thank you, you guys. Love you. Have a good night.